Okay, so today we're discussing Mercutio and Tybalt's death, which was the last scene before the interval.
And it's the avalanche of everything going wrong.
The downfall of the play, everything going bad after this.
Yeah, like the reason, it drives the climax forward.
Yeah. So to begin with, we were all in groups, and we had clothes, because it was set in a clothes shop.
Which I thought was really clever. And we had Tybalt and Romeo pretending to be mannequins at the
facing the back, so the audience didn't know who it was.
And then we had, we each were, as we were in groups, we'd each do a little scene. So for my group...
a motif movement of
trying on clothes.
So
for my group, we'd go in a circle, and when we got to the front, we'd pick up a piece of clothing and pose it to the audience and acting what their opinion was.
My group did similar, but we all picked up some clothes, tried it against us, and lifted it up, and then swapped it, and then we moved in a circle, because he wanted it to be moving, didn't he?
Yeah.
The whole scene to move in a clockwork direction.
As Mecutio and Benvolio, who are having a conversation about, I think again, just how quarrelling and stuff and how hot it is outside. And it sort of sets up why I think Tybalt and Mercutio just broke the rules.
Yeah.
That line's in, but we're not going to avoid a quarrel if we're here because it's really, really warm.
Yeah.
And then as they were going round with each group and trying on all the clothes, we just continued, and we'd just pretend to talk among each other and give each other opinions, and then...
When Tybalt came,
we'd all just
movement stopped, and we all went to the side
really
and had to react because we knew something was going to kick off because Tybalt
and Mercutio are just terrible people.
Basically,
Mercutio was egging Tybalt on, and we're getting tired of it.
And
Tybalt's not the calmest person.
When Romeo entered, we had to react to his.
I'd be like, oh, it's Romeo, and then Tybalt is
one of the feedback we were given was to react more to Tybalt and Romeo entering.
Because we're doing more of a naturalistic when Shakespeare
more
is
over
really
the top,
exaggerated, because it's so exaggerated.
So
my cheeks hurt.
We were told to thingy, proper react to what was going on and go full in. And then when the fighting actually kicked off, we used the clothes to throw.
And sort of caught like a riot and a chaos scene.
Yeah. And Mercutio had a bit of clothing on, which he took off and threw, which started everyone else.
And we'd all just and Mercutio, and the idea was that...
during when the clothes were fighting...
They'd get lost in the middle, so we couldn't actually see the fatal blow, which eventually killed Mercutio. Which I thought was really clever, because then we weren't limited to swords, and we weren't limited to something boring. But the fact we threw it around made it look like what killed him. It
proper showed a scruff, a big fight.
Almost like rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby's quite rough. Felt like that kind of feel.
And, yeah. And Tybalt runs off and Mercutio dies.
And then what we do actually, we sort of made it like a horseshoe.
Semicircle,
a horseshoe shape. And we'd all look and watch Mercutio die, and we were all really
getting really upset.
And some of us were pretending to cry, some of us were looking shocked, as he's basically bollocking Romeo for getting in between them, because he's blaming
Romeo for getting hurt, and then eventually
he gets dragged off by two others, and he dies.
And then on the night, because instead of using blood, because it was too
it was too much. It was a bit funny.
He used glitter.
It was quite funny though.
And it got it all over Romeo's face, and then Romeo had the glitter on him for the rest of the performance.
Can't help but laugh at that. Just the big glitter just in his face, and we were all
the glitter got everywhere.
Yeah, that was
it worked well, but it just got
it was just a bit different. It was a bit wacky, and some of us were, giggling
and because,
about it. It didn't really, but then...
We forgot about the glitter. It was an actual shock reaction on some of the
that's a lot. Why is there sparkly stuff there? Why is there glitter?
Why is there loads of glitter everywhere?
And then we realised it's Mercutio's blood.
That was Mercutio that walked past.
He must have some really fabulous blood, because it's just sparkly. That's no normal human being right there. Mercutio's... No. I think that's all the party Mercutio's done.
It showed his fun side of Mercutio.
It shows a brave, because Benvolio says his valiant spirit.
Yeah.
I just realised the glitter represents how party-going and funny he was compared to the other characters. And then, after Mercutio's dragged off, with Benvolio helping...
Tybalt gets...
Well, actually, there was Romeo's monologue, remember, where he's saying, because at first Romeo didn't want to even battle Tybalt because they're
They
officially
were officially
family.
kept family, yeah, because it was seen straight after the wedding.
And then he was like refusing, and then Mercutio started the fight because he felt like, because he doesn't like Tybalt clearly. So,
Yeah.
but Romeo's saying how Juliet's turned him soft and gentle, and now Mercutio's dead because of it, and he's blaming himself. That Tybalt's slander is slick.
And having like us all like react, and we like
Watch
proper
him.
watched him, so it got the audience to focus on the
him
important
solely.
monologue.
And then Tybalt was dragged on, and Aidan, all the clothes were still in the middle, so it looked like we just had a big brawl as well. Tybalt would run into the three walls in a way, because they're like this one, and that one.
The semicircle,
and we
yeah.
don't push him back as he's trying to escape because he's being a
Originally
coward.
we were going to thingy, push Romeo about, but he was delivering a monologue, so
And
we
we
thought it
thought-
made more sense for Tybalt trying to run away, but everybody else pushing him back in, and he
And it
was
also-
slipping up.
Uh-oh.